Alright, so in this video I'm going to go over the basics of a tumbler and how it can help you with your jewelry design and clean up and save you some time and effort. So let's get started. So as you can see, I have a small Lorton tumbler here, and this is probably like the smallest and more common version of them, and these are actually really nice tumblers. So what can you do with a tumbler? What does a tumbler even do when it comes to jewelry? Because I'm sure you know what a rock tumbler does, which is polishes stones over a very long period of time. Well, this will also clean up and polish and smooth out your jewelry. But along with that, it will also work harden your jewelry. So say if you make some earrings, you need to work harden them because you had to solder on posts. Well, this is one of the best ways to do it. You also need to keep in mind what size jewelry you're going to be working with, because as you can see, this is pretty small. But jewelry itself is pretty small. But if you're working with larger pieces or just more pieces, you might want to get a bigger tumbler. So this was to my other tumbler that the motor burnt out on. And I also don't need this much room when doing this, because you do have to fill this with kind of expensive materials, which I'll get to next. But yeah, you have to fill this up to make it actually work properly. So unlike rock tumbling, you're going to be using steel shot like this. And this is a bunch of different types of steel shot. And you can see all the different shapes and everything that is going on in here. This makes it so you can get into all the different areas and nooks and crannies of your work because it's all different shapes. You have to buy them individually, or you can buy some mixes. But this is kind of expensive. You can get a cheaper version of this, but it is made out of carbon steel, which will rust over time, and you have to take care of it. Or you can just buy the stainless for a little bit more and never have to worry about it. So for this particular setup, you want about 2 pounds of this to go in here. I've already measured that out in just a little solo cup. And you can see that 2 pounds is a very little bit because steel's heavy. So with these, all you need to do is unscrew the top piece here. Take this washer off and then pry this off. Once you have that, you can break the seal by just moving the rubber around the sides, and then grab here and pull this out. So this whole thing is actually a squishable rubber, and you need this for jewelry. You can't use the plastic ones really, unless you're using it on very small things like earrings, and even then, this has a chance of breaking them because it just weighs so much more. So you need to get a nice rubber setup. That's why I suggest this type of tumbler. But anyways, take this, literally pour it in here. And so you can see you're not filling this to the brim. You're just putting in the 2 pounds and calling it done. We also need to put water in this. So for the water, we just needed to go a little bit over where our actual shot is. And that's it. And you also need some soap. Use just some normal dish soap. Dawn is usually probably the best. And just add a drop. So this is now ready to put some jewelry into it to clean it up. So I'm going to be putting this already patinaed bezel in here and leave it in there for about 2 hours. And once that's done, I will take it out and show you how it looks. All right, so let's go over some details on here that we're going to look at once we pull it out. So if you look in here, you can see that I went through and cut in these little grooves. But you can see that they stick out a little bit here all the way around. Also, this thing is completely patinaed using liver sulfur. So we'll see where the patina stays and where it doesn't. So you can see that where I cut into this, it left little burrs on the outside that should be cleaned up by just throwing it into the tumbler. And it's going to smooth out a lot of the edges on this. All right, so basically just throw it in here And then we need to seal this up. Just take your parts and put them in reverse order. And there you go. And make sure to hold it sideways and see if it's leaking or not, because it's the worst thing to come back and there's just a bunch of water all over the floor. Then you just take the motor part of it and set this inside. Make sure that this piece is actually sitting on this piece of metal here. It's basically just a guide so this doesn't move and stays in one spot just spinning. So there's no on or off switch to this. It's literally just plug it in and it goes. So I'm going to set a timer for 2 hours and come back and check on it. All right, so this has been tumbling for a while. Well, it tumbled and I checked it and I tumbled it a little bit longer. So it's been a total of 4 hours in here. So let's see how this looks. One thing that you're going to find really helpful if you're using one of these, see this washer? Take it, stick it in here, and use it as a tool to open this. Otherwise, you're going to mess up your fingers trying to get into that. All right, so here we go. So here it is, and it still looks super tarnished, but all the edges are super nice and smooth. And the back has lost most of its tarnish, besides up in here. But if you look at it, even the tarnish itself has a shine to it, which is kind of the look I'm going for. So I was able to just throw this in there with the patina and it comes out like this. And all I need to do now is set my stone and we're good to go. One thing with this, do not set your stone first unless you really want a dull or broken or just ruined stone. Yes, there are some stones that are hard enough to withstand the metal that's in there, but why chance it? Because if it has any soft spots in it, it will find them and it will destroy them. Yeah, I'm gonna probably set this now and then show you real quick just to show a finished piece. But yeah, a tumbler is very helpful when making jewelry. Also, if you didn't patina this and just threw it in there, it would just come out shiny. Just a shiny, nice, smooth piece of silver. And you could go back over it with some polishing compound to clean it up a little bit more if you wanted to. All right, so here it is all set. So you can easily get this nice finish using the tumbler. And I wanted a nice shined up, worn patina look, like this has been around a while and been used. And I pretty much got it. Okay, so with all this said and done, do you need a tumbler for jewelry making? Technically, no. You don't need one. But it does make things a little bit easier for cleanups, and you can shine stuff up really easily. You can also work harden things. You absolutely need it for work hardening things. But you can get away with not doing it for the most part. Just be very careful with it. So this isn't sponsored by anyone, and I bought the tumbler and everything for it with my own money. So yeah, I suggest getting one of these to just make things easier and to get different finishes. I'm going to show in the future some other materials that you can use to get some really interesting finishes that I haven't really seen anyone else be using. So subscribe for that. And other than that, if you like the video, like it, leave a comment if you have a question, and check out the videos over here about other jewelry techniques. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.